All right, guys. I've been waiting for this video all night, but yeah, I don't know if you guys watched night one, but I did, and I have my thoughts on it. But I'm gonna save it while I'm watching this video, just because I really want to hear what C-Jack has to say about this, because I have my thoughts too, but I'd rather to get his thoughts as well. So let's just go to review, and hopefully tonight for night two, it'll be better than the first one, which I knew because honestly, nobody cares about night one at all. And I didn't either because I knew what was going to happen. So really nothing to predict. The only thing is, okay, I'll say my thoughts during the video. Let's just get to the video.
Well, Mania 41 night one is over, and I got 5 letters, 1 word, trash. That's exactly what this show was from start to finish.
You motherfucking right.
You got garbage, bad booking here, bad booking there, bad booking across the board. And this was expected. I told you guys for months that this is what was going to happen. We're seeing it in front of our faces. You mean to tell me that after that main event where Paul Heyman sides with Seth Rollins, which makes no sense at all, you have a friend of 20 plus years, you have a best friend in the tribal chief who raised your career, elevated your career, and you turn on them for some pit-pat elementary school favor for Seth Rollins? That is what we're at right now. It's 2025, and we're doing Paul Heyman turn on people gimmicks. That's what we're doing. And you have the fact that the crowd was dead all night. This crowd was dead. It was dead. You could hear a pin drop in there. If I went in there and recorded a video, I could have recorded a video from there.
Yeah, unfortunately, I noticed that the crowd was dead too. And if you read the comments right here, you can tell that the crowd does not care about this match because we all knew what it was going to happen. It was too predictable. And there was just a lot of moments that just could have been scratched off and off the list. I mean, the only thing that was good about this WrestleMania is that Bayley is out. So now we got to look for a replacement, rather it's Alexa Bliss or Becky Lynch. And I just did a poll on my Instagram, so if you guys follow me on Instagram, make sure you guys vote so that way we should, hopefully get what we can get. And, I did put the options on there, so if you guys want to go check that out, go right ahead and make sure you vote. And also follow me on Instagram if you haven't, so that way you can vote. So yeah, man, hopefully tonight will be great. I'm very nervous for the Fatal 4-Way match and the women's tag team match. I don't know how this is going to go. I'm very nervous because I really want Lyra and her new partner to win the belts just this one, so Lyra can get her first win and she can, hopefully defend the belts at Backlash so she can lose it, whoever that she's teaming up with, whether it's Becky, and, or Alexa Bliss. And I don't think Alexa Bliss is going to turn on Lyra, so she's probably not going to even be part of it, but she'll be part of it. You get what I'm saying? So even if she's not her partner, she'll still pull up because we've seen her in Las Vegas. So she's going to pull up. I just wonder which match. Is it going to be the Fatal 4-Way match or is it going to be the women's tag team match? And not only that, there is a lineup that's a little confusing to me. They have the Fatal 4-Way match and the women's tag team match in between each other. So basically, the Fatal 4-Way match is before the women's tag team match, and the tag team match is right after the Fatal 4-Way. So I don't even think Raquel and Liv Morgan are going to pull up because they can't come in 2 matches. Okay, if your match is up next, you got to get ready for that match. So you can't appear in 2 matches when you got to get ready for that match. You got to change, you got to train, and you got to stretch. And you're telling me that you're going to go in a Fatal 4-Way match just to go extract some referees and hand some title belts or some weapons just to help one of your partners out? I don't see that happening. So I really don't know how this is going to work. I really hope Liv Morgan just stay in the back and just hope that Dom and Finn just win by themselves, because to be honest, we'll get to the betrayal. We can wait till Monday Night Raw. But what I'm saying is, I don't think Dom and Finn are going to win this match. And the reason why I don't think they're going to win is because business standpoint, they haven't earned nothing. Okay, yes, it's for the storyline, but they haven't earned nothing. So honestly, listen, That's good that Dom is over the crowd. That's good. But half of them are booing and half of them are cheering. So hopefully they'll let him talk now that they're cheering for him. But still, can we please just let Braun Breaker retain his title so that way Sheamus and Kaiser can get a title shot? Please. Okay, I understand people want to see Dom win, all right, and get his first title. I get it. It sounds good. But he needs to earn the title in order for him to get the title. So otherwise, it's just going to be an Ethan Page and John Cena effect. He's going to get knocked out. He's going to lay down, 1, 2, 3, and he won the match through that. Because he didn't know that he pinned someone by laying on them. And and I don't want that to be for Dom because they're going to talk about it. I don't care if he wins the match. What I care about is the aftermath, the after fact. The man is literally going to get pummeled. I'll give it to him backlash for him to keep the title. So winning is just for no reason. When the simple thing to do is to have him win it at SummerSlam. You can't have him win it now. You know what I'm saying? Because if you have him win it now, he's going to get screwed. You don't think people in the back is going to want to beat his ass just for taking that belt? They look at Dom like a pimp squeak. They look at Dom like he's a piece of meat. They look at Dom like he's like he's one of those toys that you squish on when you stressed out. You know what I'm saying? Like, they really don't care about Dom like that. Dom is like if you take Dom to jail right now, ain't nobody going to look at him like he's tough. They going to look at him like he's somebody's side hoe. And that's because he's skinny. He's not skinny, but he's slim. And he don't got no bone. He don't got no muscle. And everybody he used to have muscle back in the day, back in 2020 during the pandemic. But then as soon as he, start growing his hair out and start growing a mustache, he just lost some weight. I don't know if it's, I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know how he lost weight. I don't know. But all I know is that if he wins the title, he's going to lose it at the same time. If you win it, he's going to lose it. Versus if you have somebody like Penta or Braun Breaker or Finn Balor, they're not going to lose it. Unless, of course, because here's the reason why I say Finn Balor's not going to lose it is because he got a single push. So if he wins that belt, they're going to push him to win that belt. They're going to push him to keep that belt until SummerSlam. And then we'll get a Dominic versus Finn at that point. But until then, we can't have him win. I listen, if he wins, whatever. But if I'm telling you right now, if he win it, he's going to lose it at the same time. Rather Liv costs him the match. Rather JD costs him the match. Rather Alexa Bliss costs him the match. He's going to have so many enemies if he win that belt. Versus if he lose it, he's safe. At least until Liv Morgan lose her belt. And then when she lose that belt, she ain't going to be loving him for long. She ain't going to be loving him for long because that ego side is going to come out again. And when it does, the relationship y'all know from Liv and Dom is over. Because right now she's blinded by the gold. But when that gold come off her, she go back to the ego side of her. So you'll see what I'm talking about after WrestleMania tonight, but if he wins it, it ain't gonna look good for him. I'm telling you that right now. I don't even know how he's, and after what just happened at the Fatal 4-Way match, I don't even know if Roxanne's gonna be part of this story, but hopefully she will. But I don't know what's next for Dom, man, because like I said, whether he wins or not, only thing that's gonna keep the storyline going is if we have the Wyatts. That's why I need Alexa Bliss to come out tonight. Because we need the Wyatts versus the Judgment Day. That's the only way we can keep the group relevant. At least until people start to see each other like, betray this person, betray that person. My prediction is that JD and Finn are going to go that way. And Liv and Raquel are going to go this way. Why Dom and Carlito have to decide it's either you follow the women or you follow the boys. And I think they're going to follow the women because because they both are simps for Liv and Raquel. Makes sense. Until they lose the belts. And now Liv Morgan's showing ego towards Dom. and Raquel is starting to like Carlito a little bit more. But I think the only way Carlito can probably get some respect from Raquel is if he starts to show a little bit more confidence and start to stand up for himself and say, hey, like I would like this segment right here, right? Let's say if Liv Morgan go after the IC belt because I guess you want to prove Becky Lynch wrong. What if Carlito say, no, you can't go off after that. That's Raquel's title. And then Dom and Carlito get into a debate because it's like, no, I want Raquel to go after that title. I don't care if she lost against Lyra. She needs to get a rematch. You know what I'm saying? If he says something like that, then maybe Raquel will stand up for him because now she sees that he's not just being this silly guy that you see in the backstage. Now she can see him as a man because he's taking charge. And that's what a woman want to see. They want to see if you can take charge. And unfortunately, a lot of women don't want to admit that, but they do want a man that's going to take charge. You want to know why I'm single? It's because I don't let women take control of me. Okay? I follow my own path and I follow my own rules. Okay? And when it comes to these laws and how it's set up now, I gotta stay out the mix because I can't be around these people that just want to hurt people. You know, hurt people. So my best bet is to stay out the way. And unfortunately, nowadays, I see how women be acting, and most of them just want you to get in trouble because they want to go out a lot. And I don't want to go out a lot. I'm an introvert. I like to stay home. I'm a homebody. I am a Scorpio by birth, but I am a Cancer because I like to stay home just because I don't trust the world and my anxiety is, I can't handle people because all they do is try to get people set up for failure. Rather they put you in jail or you end up dead, you know what I'm saying? Or end up broke, miserable, you know what I'm saying? And that's not what we want. You know what I'm saying? I don't even want nobody in my apartment, you know what I mean? Taking over, using my refrigerator, sitting in my toilet, laying in my couch, laying in my bed. It's just, I moved out of my mama's house for a reason because I can't stand living with people because all they do is just cause you depression. You get what I'm saying? And that's just what it is, I just feel like people nowadays are just scary, man. And they just want to see you dead. They just want to see you fail. They want to see you in jail. And that's why you gotta be careful who you talk to and just move militant because you just don't know, bro. You really don't know. And that's the problem with Dom. He don't know none of this stuff we're talking about. He's grown and he don't know none of this grown folk business. So I hate to say it, but he's innocent. That's why the crowd is cheering for him because they see that he's innocent. It's not because of Liv Morgan and all the hype she's been giving him. It's because, lately he's really been showing loyalty to the group and the crowd can see that. But the problem is, if Liv Morgan betrays Dom, are they really going to go hard on Liv Morgan like they did on Dom? Because even if you boo very freaking loud, she's just going to pull up with a megaphone and just talk like that. And go Jimmy Hart on y'all asses. Like, honestly, I don't know how this is going to go. I mean, it's going to be hilarious how Liv Morgan's going to react to the heat. But she said she liked the boo, so go ahead and boo her. But I think the only way y'all can wake her up is if you throw something at her. Like if you throw like food at her or drinks at her, then maybe she'll, react then. But but booing her is not going to work. Okay? You can't, unfortunately, you can't boo Liv Morgan. It's too hard to do it. It's too difficult. She don't care about the boos. Like I said, you're going to have to throw something at her in order for her to wake up. Because right now, it's not, even if she betrayed Dom and all that. I mean, because people don't care if she betrayed Finn Balor. But if she betrayed Dom, that's going to make people hate her because it's like you were just because you've been with this man for 9 months and already you're betraying him when you could have done this around January after the fact, after the 6th. So it is kind of, because it is kind of strange, right? Because it's like, why would you be with this man for long if you knew that you wasn't fucking with him like that? Well, it's because she knew that he was going to help her win the tag team gold. But lately, the tag team gold haven't been about Liv and Raquel. It's been about her. You see how they've been promoting Liv and Dom more than they've been promoting Liv and Raquel? Because nobody cares about Liv and Raquel like that. Nobody cares about them as a group. Nobody don't care. If you're not going to, give them promos or give them interviews and whatnot, then nobody gives a fuck. So I'm just tired of it, bro. It's exhausting. Okay? And that's why I want them to lose the belts. Fuck a tag team push, because I feel like you're not giving them any opponents. I mean, you're going to have them face Chemical X, Tatum, Gigi, Shotzi. You could have had them face Meta Girls. You could have had them face Fatal Attraction. You could have had them face Crow Jade or Roxanne Paredes. That way we could have a storyline with them. But no, you had them face Chemical X. They're going to lose. It's going to be a botch match. You want to know why? Because shout out to Gigi and Tatum, but you can't face people like Liv and Raquel. When we know they're probably going to have Dom by her corner, because like I said, the only way that Liv can betray Dom so quick is if he can't help her no more. Because if he don't help her, then most likely she's not going to take him serious. All you got to do is go back to the 2 segments in the beginning of time and you'll see what I'm talking about. If Dom can't help Liv Morgan win gold no more, then it's over. Okay? You can't help her beat Rhea. So, are you going to help her beat... Are you going to help her beat Becky Lynch and Lyra? Are you going to help her beat Lyra and Alexa Bliss? You tell me. You got the floor, sir. We'll see what happens tonight. But let's get back to the video because this is 30 minutes long. So let's get back to the video.
I would have noise canceling. You get me? It's over. You know this. Gunther tapping out? Not even wrestling a close match with Jey Uso? And we're sitting here calling this great? This is an embarrassment, and you know it. You know that ending made no sense. You know, even if you enjoyed that triple threat match, that nothing mattered. There was nothing on the line. Michael Cole said it himself. The match was for pride and dignity. What was El Grande Americano versus Rey Fenix for? It was a SmackDown match. Jade, Cargill, and Naomi, arguably the best match of the night, in my opinion, was a SmackDown match. Charlotte Flair and Tiffany Stratton was messy, botchy, and Charlotte Flair with a hurt knee is carrying a rookie WWE champion in a match that wasn't good at all, but Charlotte was good in it. Really? War Raiders versus New Day, a Raw match. A Raw match! Really? This is what we're getting, and we're told that this is great. This is amazing, and because of one heel turn at the end, fans are already going to be justifying this and saying, oh, this was peak. This was amazing. This was cinema. You're a bot. And you know it. Now, without further ado, what we're going to do is we're going to go back. We're going to go through this PLE match by match and talk about everything that happens because we already know WWE was lying about the seat totals all night, lying about this episode. This show is fantastic. This is amazing. This crowd is raucous. The crowd was garbage. And you know the crowd was garbage. We just watched it.
I don't know, man. After looking at the crowd, man, I can't see them lying about those numbers. But however, it is close to 60,000. I think people bought the tickets at the last minute, and that's the reason why people pulled up like that. But I don't see nothing about last night that wasn't not sold out like. I mean, I feel like it was 61,000, or at least like between 60 to 61,000. I mean, I don't know how you could lie about that, especially when, everybody pulled up and in the last minute to buy the freaking tickets. Because they definitely wasn't buying the tickets. But then when the last minute came, everybody just bought it, all those tickets. They didn't even care about the price. Just bought it. Damn. I hope you guys are rich. Because buying 400, 700 tickets, man. Okay, let's get back to the video. Damn, bro. When I saw the crowd, they were dead, absolutely. The crowd was dead and weak, but however, they pulled up. So I don't know what to say about that, but let's get back to the video.
None of these matches felt like a Mania level feel until the main event. That's all it was. And you know this. There's no point of skating around it. We have to get through this. We will talk about this show because I know Triple H and the fans and all the WWE shills are going to try and convince you that garbage is greatness. But garbage is not greatness. Garbage is garbage. So without further ado, if Seth Rollins is burning things down, burning it down, I'm going to burn this show to the ground. Now let's get into the review. First off, we had the Jey Uso versus Gunther match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Obviously, we've been known Jey Uso was going to win this belt. This was predicted months in advance. You don't have someone like Jey Uso, who, yes, he does have 5 moves, and all he does is really yeet, but he's super over, so yeah, he's going to win the belt. But that's all he's got. So you don't spend all of that Royal Rumble winning for him to eventually lose the match at Mania. He's obviously going to win, and that's just what it is. So Jey Uso ends up going out there and beating Gunther. The first 10 minutes of this match were utter mediocrity. Absolute mediocrity. Their match at Saturday Night Main Event is probably better than this, if not on par with this match, because quite frankly, there was no drama. If a match is going to be predictable, you need to give us drama or intrigue or good false finishes or give it a phenomenal build-up to the match that makes us invested. Having Gunther, who has been champion for like 80% of the time he's been on the main roster, tapping after being in a sleeper hold for 4 seconds is embarrassing, and it's a weird, nonsensical finish, and everyone saw it. They wanted more. You know what I'm saying? They wanted more from the crowd probably because the crowd was dead and pretty mediocre during this match. So much so that when Jey won, in my personal opinion, it didn't even feel like an amazing epic moment. You know, I'm sure they wanted the whole crowd to be yeeting up and down and losing their minds, but this moment did not live up to that. They wanted a yes movement moment at Mania 30 when Bryan won both belts. That's not going to happen with this because the ending was abrupt. The ending was anticlimactic. It should have gone on for a few more minutes with more false finishes to build up that drama and build up to that moment where Jey eventually topples Gunther after going through adversity in the match and not just overplaying this. Gunther is mentally challenged. He can't overcome his mental fears of Jey Uso. You're afraid of Jey Uso? Really? The same guy you just beat the crap out of and beat his brother, a couple weeks ago? And Jay's like, oh, I gotta ask for forgiveness from God for what I'm about to do. Where was that intensity in this match? Where was it? He no-sold a couple chops and then hit some bad spears, and that's it? This was mid. It was a mid-match with a predictable finish, and WWE did nothing to try and make us think anything other than that was going to happen. The ending was incredibly abrupt, and you could tell from the crowd and the announcers that the ending was abrupt. We all saw it. There was no build-up into this. Jey just kind of hit a couple splashes and did a little sleeper hold, and Gunther tapped out. If they would have built to a better story of Jey learning to, have more lack of fear than Gunther does, and Gunther's afraid of him, if they would have been building that up for weeks instead of getting brawl segments over and over and over again, maybe this moment would have rang deep and it would have been an amazing moment. But because they didn't build this match well, and because on top of that, there was no real intensity, the ending was abrupt, and the in-ring wrestling and selling and everything was just mediocre. They both looked gassed at different parts of the match. It wasn't a well-executed World Heavyweight Championship WrestleMania level match. It's as simple as that, and we know this. We have to treat it as such. There's no more need of trying to, pretty things up and act like it was great when it really wasn't. This match was garbage. It just was. At the best case, I'll give you average, like a 5 or a 6 out of 10 level match, and even then, it just didn't live up to the expectation. And now Gunther, who had a largely awful World Heavyweight Championship reign, only has 6 defenses in 260 days, by the way, and now he's losing his belts to Jey Uso. And now where does Gunther go from here? Well, where does he go from here? I just don't know. Even Jey Uso, what's this reign going to look like? I mean, there's so many issues with this match. I didn't really enjoy it. The ending felt abrupt, and it didn't even feel like the massive feel-good moment they wanted from this match, and that's how you know it did not do its job. The build wasn't good, and the stories weren't good.
Neither is the Hall of Fame ceremony. But no, shout out to Michelle McCool and Triple H for being inducted to the Hall of Fame. Shout out to them. But yeah, man, hey, listen, we all knew that Jey was going to win. No matter how he won. So the prediction was just too high for us to not know that he was going to win. Look, once I saw that he won the Royal Rumble, I knew he was going to win at WrestleMania. And look, he won. He got the belt. He got something to put on his resume. So that's good. So congratulations to Jey Uso. And I know for a fact he's going to celebrate at Monday Night Raw. And hopefully he'll celebrate it with his family. So hopefully that can happen. And Roman probably won't be there, but hopefully, you can be there just to celebrate with his brother. But if he can't, then okay. But I would just think it would be nice to see Roman there and to celebrate with Jey Uso and his brother. So Shout out to Jimmy Uso for being there. I told you he wasn't injured. It's just blood. Come on. Like, I mean, everybody bleeds and come right back. Let Morgan bleed and came right back. I know what I'm saying? Nia Jax bleed and came right back. Raquel bled from her arm. Same with Rhea, and they came right back. I mean, all they need is a couple stitches. That's it. So, yeah, I mean, the only person that couldn't come back right away was Drew McIntyre, but you know why. And sooner or later, that's going to be Liv Morgan. But enough about that. Let's get back to the video, all right?
And they know they wanted more from the crowd. But you know what's funny? Triple H says the internet isn't real, right? The internet isn't real and all this other nonsense. You know, it's all he said throughout the whole week, that the internet wasn't real. The complaints aren't real. Well, why in the world were you in real life in front of all these Vegas fans, which you lied about there being 60K? There was really probably around 50K, because 7 days ago you had 49K for night one. I guess that number randomly shot up 12K in 7 days, apparently, you liars.
I don't know, man. This looked like 61K to me, man.
But anyways, you know, the internet isn't real. Fans' complaints aren't real. But for some reason, we were in this Las Vegas crowd and they were dead. Dead the whole night except for a select amount of moments. They were dead in real life. But apparently, you know, what's it called though? The internet's real. You know, it's fake, I mean, right? It's not real. You know, all the complaints and stuff is fake. So that's why the fans in real life didn't give a crap either. So how about that? Anyways, we get to the New Day versus War Raiders match, okay? The New Day versus War Raiders match, quite frankly, was a disaster. This might be the worst match of the night, which, I mean, it's either between this and the Rey versus, the Rey Fenix versus El Grande Americano match, or the Charlotte and Tiffany match, or whatever the heck. I mean, there's multiple choices tonight. This just wasn't good night overall. The New Day heel turn was officially wasted. You had a phenomenal all-time great heel turn segment, and it led to New Day floating around in undercard monotony with the LWO, and now they finally win the championships, which they should have done 3 months ago. That's what should have happened. But now we're getting it now, so we're supposed to act happy about this. The crowd was dead the whole time. The War Raiders tried to get the crowd hyped time after time, and no one cared because no one knows who the War Raiders are. They are jobbers. Don't put jobbers on a WrestleMania card. That's not how this works. If you want the biggest show possible and the best show possible, put on your good performers. Have New Day and Street Profits, not New Day and War Raiders. This is just embarrassing at this point. So this match should have been cut from the card. The New Day win, thankfully, but this should have happened 3 months ago. But the fact that they turned out a TLC match between the tag teams on SmackDown, which were actually building something for the last few months, is just sad. You turn that down for Mania to have this on the Mania card. It's just, it's embarrassing, man. Yes, the New Day won. I don't really care. They won the match. They have the titles. Great. The titles are going to go back to being meaningless by Monday.
Well, still, congratulations to the New Day for winning the tag team belts. It's just unfortunate they couldn't win it 3 months ago, but hey, then I think the Judgment Day was around. That's why. I mean, shoot, JD and Ben, you know, they were on top with those belts until, you know, they faced the War Raiders thanks to Damian Priest, and then they came, you know what I'm saying? So hopefully the New Day will, defend the belts and do what they need to do with it. But until then, you know, I still want to say congratulations. So congratulations to the New Day. The New Day are champs. Yep.
So congratulations. Then we have a situation where Naomi comes out to a new theme. Then we get the Jade Cargill. She has a weather report. You know what I'm saying? A weather report in her entrance. It's kind of corny and cheesy, but her entrance was okay, I guess. And then we get the actual match. This match from start to finish was a very solid match. Okay, this was a good match. You could even make the argument it was pretty solid match in my opinion. Okay, it had solid drama inside of it, I think. And I also think that Jade Cargill, even though we knew she was going to win, right? There were good moments where she actually, kind of came back on by Naomi. So she would dominate Naomi, then Naomi would have her spurt, and then Jade would have her spurt. It was pretty cool, in my opinion. And Jay's showing of power here in this match, I thought was great. It was slightly entertaining in most of the spots. There were some botches here and there and some miscommunications. Speaking of miscommunications, you're going to see a lot of that in the Charlotte and Tiffany match. But anyways, it had some slight miscommunications, but Jade did a good job here. Her first singles match on a PLE, I believe, and this was a pretty good outing in my personal opinion. She looked athletic, she sold pretty well, and on top of that, her moveset was great. The pop-up little powerbomb thing she did off her back, she had the Jaded. It was a solid match, and she did good in it, and Naomi's new heel gimmick is actually kind of interesting, so I'm seeing how it plays out. This was probably, objectively speaking, this might be the first or second best in-ring match of the night by far. It's not even remotely close. It's between this and the main event, and then everything else was straight crud.
Well, let me just say this, right? Even though I wish that Naomi could have won this match, I do I am happy for Jade for winning this match. I mean, even though I wanted Naomi to win just to continue her heel character, but maybe she'll go after Bianca. I don't know. But yeah, shout out to Jade. I mean, hopefully we'll get a Tiffany versus Jade at either Backlash or SummerSlam or whatever pay-per-view we could think of. So congratulations to Jade Cargill.
That's all. It was straight junk. So there you have this match. Then we have LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu. And quite frankly, I heavily tuned out during this match. I did not fall asleep, but man, was I bored. LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu had a couple decent spots. But again, there's no story here. It's predictable. I said multiple times in an interview, not in interviews. I'm thinking I'm Triple H staging fake interviews. But anyways, I said multiple times in my predictions that LA Knight was going to lose this match. Obviously, he lost the match. And there it is. I mean, there's nothing else to say about it. There was a BFT mid-air thing that they debuted, which was decent. LA Knight's entrance was decent. But ultimately, the fact that LA Knight had a U.S. championship reign that should have never ended, then it ended for 3 months, and then Shinsuke did nothing with the belt, had one match with it or 2 matches with it, and then we lead it to have LA Knight win it back, just to lose it again a month later. Like, the booking on that is just atrocious, and we're all seeing it. This isn't good, and we all know it's not good, so we have to look at these things objectively and just be real with ourselves. This just wasn't working. The LA Knight experiment with him being over and doing all this stuff has led to nothing. He's not going to win a world title this year. He's probably not going to win one ever, quite frankly, and the U.S. title was probably the peak of his abilities of what he's going to accomplish, and it's just sad to say that, but it is what it is, man. Sometimes the talent is not booked correctly, and that's just what it is. There was zero drama here. We all knew Jacob Fatu was going to win the whole time, and so because of that, it made me not care about this match. Jacob Fatu wins the U.S. Championship within like a few months now. What is it, like 7 months since he's debuted, or 8 months now, whatever it's been, and that's just what it is. I mean, whatever at this point. I don't really know what else to say about this. It was a pretty mediocre and forgettable match that we've seen on SmackDown multiple times. Just like New Day versus War Raiders, we've seen that on Raw multiple times over the years, and we just saw it again like 2 weeks ago on Raw. So it's just, these are Raw and SmackDown matches. How am I supposed to get hyped for Raw and SmackDown matches? Can someone please explain that to me? I will wait.
Well, unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch Jacob versus LA Knight due to, me being late and whatnot. I was too busy trying to... I just came back from work, so I wasn't able to watch Jacob Fatu versus LA Knight. But however, I tried to watch it on YouTube, but I couldn't find the ending. I don't even know how he beaten LA Knight. I mean, I don't know if he hit the backflip or he hit that hip attack. I don't know what he did. But y'all can comment down below. Let me know how he won, because I'm not able to watch it on the internet for some reason. I don't know why, but if y'all can comment down below and let me know how did Jacob won, and okay, then we're good to go. So yeah, but yeah, congratulations to Jacob. But I don't believe that LA Knight is not going to get a title shot. But is he ever going to win the World Heavyweight Championship or the WWE Championship? Maybe not the WWE Championship, but he'll probably have to come to Raw to face Jey Uso, or Jey Uso is going to have to come to SmackDown in order for him to take that title, which it makes sense because, look, we really don't need John Cena on SmackDown. So, yeah, John Cena coming to Raw makes sense, and Jey Uso coming to SmackDown makes a lot of sense because at least people on SmackDown will get an opportunity for the belt. So hopefully LA Knight be one of them, including Damian Priest and Braun Strowman and Carmelo Hayes in 4 months. And who else? I don't know, but that's all I can think of. And Drew McIntyre. But I think Drew McIntyre is probably going to come to Raw because they might start something fresh and something new for him. So hopefully we'll get the drafts, but I don't even know if it's going to happen, but we'll see. We'll see. But congratulations to Jacob, though.
Then we get Rey Fenix versus Chad Gable. Rey Mysterio, as I said last night in the SmackDown review, as I predicted, I knew Rey was injured as soon as I saw the doctors tending to him. But because he was hurt, we're now getting Rey Fenix versus Chad Gable. Rey Fenix came out to no reaction. El Grande Americano came out to basically a mid-reaction as well. This crowd was just so bad and so dead all night. But you can't expect a great reaction to garbage. Why would I react crazy to garbage? These tickets now are so overpriced. They're not for WWE fans. They're for whoever has the deepest pockets. Whether you're a WWE fan and that fits you, or whether you're a fan of whatever the heck you're a fan of, if you have deep pockets, those are the people who are going to line up the top rows in this section. You had people who spent $8,000 to $10,000+ on this. This garbage show is what they spent tens of thousands of dollars. It's really sad to see fans get scammed like that by the general public of WWE. It's embarrassing. But this match was mid, and we've seen this. This is a Raw match. If you've seen El Grande Americano / Chad Gable versus Rey Fenix or Rey Mysterio, which we've seen it 50 times in the last 3 months, if you've seen that, you've seen this match. And it's as simple as that. Chad Gable wins by putting the little metal rock in his helmet and then hits the big headbutt thing from the top rope. Ends the match. It's over. No one cares about this. Let's just move on.
Well, at least Chad Gable had his first win in WrestleMania, so congratulations, bro. I mean, amigo.
At this point. Then we get Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. Tiffany has an entrance where she comes out like out of a Barbie box, which I thought was decently cool. And then Charlotte just pulls up in a Rolls Royce and comes out. And quite frankly, the story of this match is because here's the thing. With all these matches, the stories have been so bad and the builds have been so bad that nobody cares. I don't care who wins any of these matches, and neither do most of the audience. That's why nobody was reacting. It really does not matter. You know, Charlotte really in this match, though, carried it. She carried it, even in her older age in wrestling years, okay? And the fact that her knee is probably not 100%, she still went out there and outclassed Tiffany Stratton, who's allegedly one of the best in-ring performers in the company in the women's division, but she got outperformed by Charlotte Flair, who's had 2 matches since coming back from injury. Like, it's not close. There's levels to this. That's why Tiffany probably should have just lost this belt. She looked amateur here. She was messy. She was sloppy. I thought that her moveset was very slow. She was moving, and just for her age, she should not be moving that slow. You know, maybe it's a conditioning thing. I don't know what it is, but I wasn't a fan of Tiffany's performance in this match, and I think she's been better in a lot of other matches she's had on the main roster, but it is what it is. Charlotte clearly controlled and dominated most of this match. Tiffany looked very green in the gills and just unready for this type of moment. That's the way I would describe it. And Charlotte carried a messy and a sloppy match, and that's what she does. You know, she had good counters. I like the fact that she was attacking the knee and talking trash the whole time and physically hitting Tiffany. Tiffany Stratton's tooth got chipped in this match because of how hard Charlotte was hitting her. So I thought that Charlotte really brought it in this match, but it didn't seem like Tiffany Stratton really was going that hard. It really didn't. You know, if you've seen the bumps that she took at NXT, the bumps she took on the main roster, the things she's done, this was a very mediocre and very underwhelming performance from Tiffany Stratton, and that's just what it is. That's what the opinion that I can offer you as my viewing of the show, okay? And I thought towards the end of the match, there was a bunch of miscommunications, clearly, and botchiness, and a lot of sloppiness in this match. It was kind of rough to get through in certain parts, very sluggish, but, you know, Charlotte dominated the whole time. Eventually, Tiffany caught back up and won off of one prettiest moonsault ever, and the anticlimactic ending happened, and that was pretty much it. You get an anticlimactic ending to another world title match on this show, just like Jey and Gunther. And yeah, Charlotte Flair out-wrestled Tiffany Stratton, but Tiffany Stratton won, and that was all this was. It was a very mediocre match, and honestly, I expected this match to just be pretty mid, and it kind of lived up to that. It was basically just a mid-match, pretty mediocre. The Charlotte Flair stuff here was solid, I thought, and, you know, I thought the in-ring trash talk was decent, but the actual in-ring work rate and the smoothness of it and the entertainment value of it was not very high. This was not a Mania WWE Women's World Championship level match.
Well, to be honest, I kind of wanted Charlotte to lose because of that damn knee. So I really hope she go home and rest and just don't come back unless you are 100% until you're medically clear. You know what I mean? So, yeah, because we know Crota Jade, you know, she's medically clear, but for Charlotte, it's, you know, she's not. So I would rather for her to go home and rest her knee until she's, you know, medically clear and come back with a new character for people to, you know, to not boo her. I mean, they'll boo her, but they won't boo her to the point where, all right, I'm going to come back as this new person. I'm going to come back as this new character that you guys never seen before. So that way people can be shocked and awe, you know, when Charlotte comes back. So hopefully she'll take some time off, and hopefully Tiffany will, you know, hopefully carry on the belt until, you know, some new people, you know, carry their belt. So, but we won't know until tomorrow. So we'll see what happens with the triple threat match. But until then, Charlotte, just go home, man. Just go home and rest your knee. All right. While Tiffy, you know, hold it down for the young women in the back, you know. So that's my input on it. Let's get back to the video.
It just wasn't. If you look at what Charlotte did with Rhea Ripley a few years ago at Mania 39, that's one of the greatest women's matches of all time that I've ever seen. That match is much better than this match. It's not even remotely close. Not even close. So if I saw that, I can't lower my standards down to accept this as being good. It wasn't. It was pretty mid, and in some parts of it, it was bad in my opinion. Then after this, we have to quickly talk about Triple H's ego trip that he does. They show the Hall of Famers, but we have to single out a full-blown entrance for Triple H, who's in the Hall of Fame this year. He comes out and spits his water out. We have to spend a couple minutes glazing him and showing him spitting his water because we have to give Triple H time for this. He's got to get his stuff in because, and then the whole time in the video package, he's like, it's not about me. It's about you guys. It's about the people who helped me. But then they make it all about him in every single chance. He has a scripted interview set up for himself the week of WrestleMania, calling out fans and telling them to F off. That's what Triple H is doing. But it's not about him, though, guys. It's about us. Dude, it's just embarrassing. Anyways, then we get to the main event. And actually, you're probably thinking the same thing I was thinking about watching this. Wow, everything flew by. How are you already at the main event? That's because Mania this year, nothing happened. It flew by like a regular episode of a bad Raw or SmackDown. That is what this episode flew by. And you know how I know that? Because every match was a Raw or a SmackDown match besides two of them. And we've seen it. We saw Jey and Gunther on Raw. We saw War Raiders and New Day on Raw. We've seen, Ray Fenix and Chad. Well, we haven't seen them two, but we've seen Chad versus Dragon Lee and Chad versus Ray. It's pretty much the same match. We've seen LA Knight versus Fatu, LA Knight versus Solo. We've seen the combinations a billion times. Naomi and Jade was the only PLE level match, and same with this main event, and that's it. Everything else, the Tiffany and Charlotte match would look on paper like a main event match, but it wasn't a main event feel. The crowd didn't make it feel that way, and neither did the performances in the actual match. So yes, we are already at the main event because nothing happened. Nothing happened. It's really sad to see this stuff, but this is what you get. WWE is in this current stage right now where it's all about money and ads. You have sponsors all over the rings. They're more worried about sponsors than putting on good matches. You probably had more sponsors on the ring mat than you did matches tonight, and that's just what it is. But anyways, you get to the main event. All the entrances were actually pretty cool, I would say. Just to talk about that a second. Hold on for a second. How in the heck are we already at the main event of this show? That lets you know how much nothing happened. This is absurd for something this embarrassing and poorly paced to take place during a WrestleMania, man.
It's crazy because I was going live, watching Stand and Deliver, and I was just wondering, because it was like the pay-per-view was so long, bro. It was so long that I started getting tired. I had to walk around. I had to drink a little bit, drinking some of that fresh lemonade, you know what I mean? Not that Liv Morgan lemonade, that pink lemonade, you know what I'm saying? That strawberry lemonade, you feel me? Because I don't drink alcohol when I'm at home, and I don't drink alcohol unless I go out, unless it's special occasions, dinner dates and, go out with family and stuff like that. But other than that, man, I listen, Stand and Deliver definitely was long as hell. You know what I'm saying? But see, WrestleMania, not so much. And some of it could be is because I was on my phone, but that was because I had to post these, these short clips for y'all. You feel me? But so I kind of slept on the triple threat match, but I didn't sleep. I just metaphorically speaking, that. So, it's amazing how I told you night one was gonna suck. I told you that it was going to be predictable. Now I'm just hoping night two don't be predictable. You know what I'm saying? I still hope that the Fatal 4-Way match be unpredictable. I'm hoping that the women's tag team match will be unpredictable. I'm hoping. Because, like I said, same with the triple threat match. Because it's just, come on, man. Like, same with Damian versus Drew. Unpredictable, please. Okay? Because I really don't want these predictions to come true. I really think it should be a switcheroo. Drew needs his career. Braun needs to retain so that way Sheamus and Kaiser can take the belt, or Penta. And not only that, I want Lyra to get her first win. And if she team up with Becky, you bet not cost her, because what's the point of having her a tag team partner if she just gonna cost her? Forget it. I don't want to see the heel turn. I want to see Becky beat the freak out of Liv Morgan for what happened at the steel cage match. You get what I'm saying? Because the king and queen of the ring, that's nothing, all right? I mean, she won, all right? It is what it is, all right? But the steel cage match, if you want to get your get back. Stand on your word. Everybody got to stand on what they say, okay? Becky, forget the title, all right? Go after Liv Morgan. Beat her up. If you're not going to do it, then it just brings you back to the Jade and Naomi situation at Elimination Chamber. Everybody's too egotistic to beat the hell out of Liv Morgan because they know if they beat up Liv Morgan, it wouldn't make sense to the crowd. Why wouldn't it be? Becky was supposed to get her get back, and she can't get her get back because she's too focused on Lyra's title? What? and you took out Bailey. Come on, man. I don't got time for this shit. Either y'all gonna stand up to Liv Morgan, or we'll just wait till Alexa Bliss come back. Because we know Alexa Bliss got no beef with anybody in the back, so we know that Alexa Bliss should go after Liv Morgan. I hope that we get to see her tonight. But god damn it, man, why Becky Lynch? Because she was just cheering in the back of Seth Rollins winning, and now that lets me know right there she's gonna turn heel. And for what? For an IC belt? You're not going to tell me that's worth it than you going down there and beating the hell out of Liv Morgan. Come on, man. We ain't got time for this shit. But let me get back.
Wow, just gotta reiterate that again. Anyways, the entrances were all pretty decent. Seth Rollins comes out and burns everything down with a flamethrower, and then after he burns everything down with a flamethrower, you basically have a situation where he rises up again like he's an angel all of a sudden with his all-white gear. Pretty cool entrance, I guess. The entrance was cool. I mean, it is what it is. I don't know what to say about it. Whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's an entrance. I don't know. Then we have Roman Reigns came out next, and you had these like floating like cards, kind of the format of the Vegas, I guess aesthetic or whatever, which by the way, the stage looks like crap. I'm just gonna be honest, the stage looked terrible. The stage itself, it was very phoned in. They have some random like cardboard cutout looking buildings. You could have put like actual trading, gambling cards kind of aesthetic, but they didn't even try. They have the Xfinity logo on it. It's like, dude, and all they have is just the WrestleMania letters. No logos, just letters. It just doesn't look good. Anyways, that's not the point. This entrance is, well, whatever. Roman comes out, they have a bunch of cards flashing through the greatest moments of his title reign and showing some of his family members as well. I think his uncle and his father, which was cool. And then he gets to the ring, that's pretty much that. Roman has the new black and white gear, which I thought looked great. I thought it was pretty cool. He comes out looking jacked and shredded, you know what I'm saying? He does a great job of, keeping in shape and actually making you feel, oh yeah, this is the final peak form of Roman Reigns. He's ready for a main event match, So I appreciate him doing that like he did last year. And then he comes out to the ring. CM Punk then comes out to the Cult of Personality live performance with Paul Heyman there. A shout out though to the CM Punk like the Fire Burns video segment they did before he actually came out was absolutely brilliant. It was nostalgic. It made you actually happy for Punk, even if you already weren't, I guess, whatever. But, I thought it was a very cool package that summarized Punk's career well, fit his aesthetic, fit his character, man. Good lead up to this moment for his entrance. They do all the high fives and stuff. Punk has the all yellow gear like he did back in the day with the gray hoodie on. Pretty cool stuff, okay? Then we get to the actual match. This match before it started is talked about for being about pride and dignity. You mean to tell me that we are supposed to be told that this is the most important triple threat match ever according to Seth Rollins, and all it is for pride and dignity? That's all it is. Pride and dignity. Words from Michael Cole, words from Triple H. Those are the words from the WWE team that promoted this match, and the announcers on commentary is that this was for pride and dignity. In other words, for nothing. For nothing. And I don't want to hear about, oh, this is for the future of the industry. No, it's not. No, it isn't. It's just so embarrassing at this point. But anyways, we're going to talk about that in a second. We then get Paul Heyman and Punk are basically joking and poking fun at Roman for not being able to, be alongside Paul Heyman here. And so we have a situation where they're like laughing at Roman. And then Roman and Seth start fighting to open the match. They start fighting and then they go outside the ring. And then it turns into like Punk and Rollins kind of brawling with each other after Roman hits the steps, I believe. And then they like brawl out in the crowd. There's like a suplex on a trash can and, all kinds of spots within the crowd. Then Roman Reigns jumps over the barricade and jumps at him. It's kind of a cool little spot there. And then after that, they bring it back in the ring and they have this moment where Punk's hitting both of them with the knee. You know what I'm saying? The running knee in the corner. He had a couple bulldogs, I think he had in there as well. Seth hits a couple suplexes, I think. And then, actually, I don't even think that happened. Seth just did a couple of moves. I forget what he was doing, but he did that. Roman hit a couple of spots, hit a Superman punch on Punk. And then once that first Superman punch was hit, everything from here on out was basically just a finisher fest. Like, everything's just blurring together now. It's just a bunch of finishers until we eventually got the spot where Roman Reigns was like hulking up, like the big dog mode, about to do the ooh-wah for the shield bomb. But then what happened is that Roman Reigns just powerbombed both of them through these like really hard like announce tables they had at ringside that like just broke open. It was kind of a sick spot. Really cool stuff there. But my question is this. If Seth Rollins had the ace in his sleeve the whole time to apparently have Paul Heyman sell out and put the chair in the ring, why in the world would he try and convince Roman Reigns to powerbomb Punk through the table with him? Because then what was going to happen after that? Rollins and Roman just stand tall over Punk as Punk's put through a table and they just stare at him and laugh? Then what? What comes next? Like, what was the end game of that idea of this match? That aspect makes no sense to me. I don't even know why Rollins even tried to convince him. I don't know why Paul Heyman would try and put a chair in the ring when in all reality, Roman, Punk, or Rollins could have thought to bring in a chair a lot sooner. You know, how did Roman just ran? We're going to get to that in a second. Let's just finish this match first and then we'll talk about it afterwards. Anyways, it becomes a full-blown finisher fest. Now, I will give it this. There was good drama amidst this finisher fest. I'll be honest with you. There was a lot of curb stomps. There was a lot of GTSs, a lot of Anaconda Vices. Roman Reigns lost it and tried to put the guillotine on Punk and on Seth. And, you know, they both kind of got out of that. There was a situation with a bunch of spears as well, like at least 3 or 4 spears, multiple Superman punches, power bombs through the announce tables. There was a spot where Rollins went out there, you know, and tried to convince Roman to powerbomb Punk and stuff. Roman ended up powerbombing them both through the really hard announce tables there, so that was kind of interesting. Pretty cool spot there. And then you had a moment where you thought Roman was going to win after he speared him in the ring. I think he speared Rollins in the ring, and Rollins still kicked out, so that was pretty much that. And then ultimately, you get to the spot where after all of these finishers, because you're not missing anything. That's all it was, a finisher fest. One person would try and pin another, and the other person would try to pin the other, and then vice versa, and vice versa, and vice versa after multiple finishers. That's all this was for like 50% of this match was just that. That's all it was. Then we get to the ending portion. Paul Heyman goes and grabs a chair, throws it in the ring, and CM Punk grabs the chair, and Roman's like, no, how could you do this to me, Paul? As if Roman didn't already stop trusting this guy a while ago. And then Paul Heyman hits CM Punk in the junk, you know what I'm saying, does a low blow on CM Punk, and then after that, Roman's like, oh, yes, you're with me now, which, again, this makes no sense. If Roman Reigns was just complaining, he's made social media videos about it, he was literally on Raw talking about it in the promo, he does not trust Paul Heyman anymore. So why would he randomly trust Paul Heyman because he low-blowed CM Punk, as if the biggest snake of all time, Seth Rollins, isn't standing 5 feet away from him? This makes no sense, and it makes Roman Reigns look like an idiot. That's what it makes him look like. It makes him look like he's learned nothing since last year when he lost everything. He lost his Ula Fala, he lost his belt, and because at Mania, he focused on the wrong things and fell for the trap from Rollins, and he lost to Cody Rhodes. And now you fast forward a year, he's doing the same thing. But this is long-term booking, amazing booking. This makes so much sense. This is epic. This is incredible. This is cinema. It makes no sense, and I just exposed it in front of your face. We're seeing this together. This isn't anything that's made up. We're all watching the same thing. You know, it's like, what are we doing here? And then Roman Reigns, as he's about to hit Seth Rollins with the chair, Paul Heyman's like, yes, get revenge on Seth. Get revenge for everything he's done for the Shield, as if Roman didn't do this last year and it cost him the match. And Roman proceeds to try and do it anyway, gets low blowed, and then Rollins stands up, takes the chair from Heyman. Heyman officially sides with Rollins, and Paul Heyman sitting back and smiling as Roman Reigns gets hit with a chair. Your tribal chief who elevated your career on screen and off screen. He's done this in kayfabe and not in kayfabe. The guy who you were best friends with for 2 decades in kayfabe and not in kayfabe, and you turn on both of them for Seth Rollins, who has been annoying, who has trashed Paul Heyman, and who was feuding with Paul Heyman last year at Mania and leading up to this year's Mania. For what? For what? Because Paul Heyman didn't get curb stomped one time on Raw? Seth could have curb stomped Paul Heyman at any moment throughout the last decade. Like, what is this now? You know, I could say I have a favor on Paul Heyman if I showed up to a show and chose not to beat him up. Now I get a favor. Where's my favor at? Everyone gets a favor, because the real truth is, this story was bad, and everyone can see it now in front of our faces. I do not care that, yes, this match in-ring-wise and drama-wise from a storytelling perspective, and, you know, honestly, no, the storytelling at the end was terrible, but the storytelling throughout the match until the end of the match, and the in-ring work when the most of the match, was decent. It was a solid match. I'm not going to lie to you guys. You can even make the argument it was a good match. Sure, cool, but it was for nothing, and the implications of the bad booking at the end are atrocious, and therefore the match gets ruined looking back at it. It's as simple as that, man. I can't throw out, you know what I'm saying, if 65% of the match is good, but 35% of the match is bad, and the 35% has the ending in it, it's really like a 60-40 or a 50-50 match. I can't sit here and call that an all-time great or a masterpiece or a 5-star classic. No, it was a good match with a garbage booking finish. That's what it was. And that's what it is. You know, it felt like a Mania main event match, so that's cool. But quite frankly, the story was trash and the ending booking makes zero sense. So now we have a situation where Seth Rollins is siding with Paul Heyman, and at the end of the match, after hitting Roman with the chair, Punk, who's 2 feet away and kicked out of like 5 curb stomps on Raw and Netflix, now took 1 curb stomp in a low blow, and now Punk couldn't move 5 feet to end to break up the pin or anything. So Rollins ends up by pinning Roman Reigns. That is how the match ends up, man. It is embarrassing. Roman Reigns getting pinned twice, making the same mistake twice in a row because Roman Reigns is booked like an idiot. This is the guy who just carried the company for 5 years, may I add, and he's being booked like an idiot. Like, it's It's just so dreadful, man. It really is. There's so many plot holes and questions. Why does this matter? Why does it matter that Rollins is with Heyman? Why? There's no outcome of this. Fans are already trying to justify and say, oh, well, what if Rollins joins Rock tomorrow and Cena and all that stuff and Heyman? Like, it doesn't matter. He'd still be a third fiddle. The Rock is the head of the company and a much bigger star and a better star, and so is John Cena. And Cena will be WWE champion by the end of tomorrow, so what is Rollins there for? For moral support? You know, now we have a part-time Roman Reigns is probably going to disappear for 2 or 3 months again, come back and do the same quasi-OTC arc where he doesn't trust anybody now. It's so stupid. Why would Paul Heyman turn on his friends of years for a guy who's done nothing but feud with him and bash him? For what? To help him win a match for pride and dignity? This is predictable. Fans have been saying for weeks, what if Rollins turned into a Paul Heyman guy? What if Rollins turned on, what if Heyman turned on Roman and Punk? Fans have been saying this and predicting this for weeks. We've been seeing this. How many people have been saying for the last few weeks leading up to this match, what if Paul Heyman turns on both of them and becomes a Seth Rollins guy? They've made fan art about it. They've made edits about it. We've seen it. So why are we acting surprised that they put out a shock factor finish because they have nothing good to do with this story? It was just embarrassing. And the inconsistency, you know, you have Roman last year who was taking choke slams, AAs, 4 or 5 crossroads, and then it finally took a 3 crossroads in a row to finally lose. But now he's getting pinned because of a low blow, a chair shot, and a couple curb stomps in a GTS. Really? Same guy who was champ for 5 years, by the way. But again, he got pinned by 2 spikes at Crown Jewel, so, I mean, they clearly nerfed him. CM Punk cooked out of 5 curb stomps on Raw and Netflix, or like 3 or 4 of them. And then, you know, now tonight, he just can't stop a low blow. A low blow and 1 chair shot, and he was done. That's it. You know, it is really embarrassing. They have to force out a shock factor move to make things, you know, try and seem cool, but it just wasn't. This PLE, this night 1 of Mania 41 was trash. I kid you not, it was garbage. I am going to give it a 3 or a 4 out of 10. I'll give it a 3.5 out of 10. That's what this Mania Night 1 gets, because all of it was Raw/SmackDown matches. The ending was atrocious, and everything in between that was just bad. The Naomi and Jade match was good. Moments of the Charlotte and Tiffany match were decent, and you know, the 60 to 70% of this match was good. But that's all you got. You had 6 matches. 4 were terrible. 1 of them was, you know, was solid, and 1 of them was good with a bad ending. So you balance out, it's like a 4 or a 3 out of 10 for this PLE, and that's all it is. This was an F-tier show. I don't understand how in the world they actually put this out in public. I knew this was going to be a bad PLE, but I did not expect it to be this trash. But, you know, you get what you get, and you don't get upset. That is the review/rant/discussion/exposure of WWE's garbage performance on Mania 41 Night 1. And be prepared, because I will be back at it again tomorrow for WrestleMania 41 Night 2, where hopefully Cena can save us from this nonsensical garbage booking with bad matches and a bad crowd. With that being said, thank you for watching. Have a phenomenal day. Let me know your thoughts on Mania 41 Night 1 in the comment section below. I appreciate your support. I appreciate you. I respect you. I love you. And I'll see you tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Thank you guys for watching. Peace out and one love.
Listen, I got no comment on that triple threat match. I kind of slept on through it. I mean, metaphorically speaking, I kind of slept on it because I was too busy making short clips for you guys to, you know, more content for you guys. But yeah, night 1 was not the WrestleMania match. I mean, the WrestleMania PLE we really give a fuck about. What we give a fuck about is night 2. All right, the Fatal 4-Way match, the Tag Team Women's match, and, you know, John Cena versus Cody. And while everything else is like, all right, cool, whatever. So, listen, I really hope that whoever wins the Fatal 4-Way match makes sense. And I really hope that Lyra doesn't lose, even though she's going to. But what my expectation for the tag team match is that if Becky Lynch do team up with Lyra, that she will hopefully win because of, you know, what happened in the steel cage match. But if Dominic Mysterio doesn't get betrayed that day, then most likely Liv and Raquel are going to win because of Dom. So, and as I'm looking at the list, it does seem like that Liv Morgan is not going to come out in the Fatal 4-Way match, because you can't appear in 2 matches. You just can't when you got to get ready for the next match. It's not going to work. Unless you could stretch it out, but I don't see how that's going to work. So I think JD is going to come back and help Finn Balor win the belt. And if he don't help him win the belt, then most likely either Braun's going to retain or Penta's going to win. Because obviously JD is going to be there because we saw him at the Hall of Fame. So I saw a picture of him sitting down. So obviously he's most likely going to probably pull up and probably cost Dom the match. And if that's the case, then okay. Because he got leg room. Liv Morgan don't. Because she got to get ready for her next match. If the women's match is before the Fatal 4-Way match. So I believe that Liv is not going to pull up and Dom is not going to win. So all y'all on the internet going to look like fools because every last one of y'all keeps saying, Dom's going to win, Dom's going to win, Dom's going to win. We don't know. So can you please say that this match is unpredictable? Because we really don't know if he's going to win. I'm not saying he's not going to win. I'm saying I hope he don't win because there's consequences of what happens if he wins that belt. If he wins that belt, is he prepared for the backlash? Not from the fans, but from the people in the back. Are you prepared to get hurt? Are you prepared to get heartbroken? Are you prepared to get injured? Are you prepared to be sitting out for the next couple weeks? Because that's what's going to happen if you win that belt. If you win that IC belt, you're going to get enemies and you're going to get betrayals. And one of them is going to be Liv Morgan. Because once she loses those tag team belts, she's on your ass. But I don't know if she's going to lose it. I just hope that she does because then that way, not only we see the truth, but we also can get a fresh start between Liv and Raquel. Because right now, Liv and Raquel are getting slept on. Because they're so focused on Liv and Dom that they don't care about Liv and Raquel. And if you don't care about Liv and Raquel, then say that. Why are you about them as a tag team if you can't have them get the promos and the promotion that they need? Liv Morgan's getting more promos than Raquel. Why is Raquel doing an interview by herself? When are you gonna get? When are we gonna get a tag team interview? When Alexa Bliss was champion, guess what she did? She invited Nia Jax to Steve Harvey's show. Why is Raquel not invited to the Kelly Clarkson show? Why? Because it lasted for 3 minutes? Come on. A video call to interview somebody that's not Kelly Clarkson? And shout out to Brooke Shields, but come on, man. Now that Kelly's back, I hope that she get a restart, but damn. Kelly get to interview Naomi, but can't get an interview with Liv Morgan and Raquel? But mention Raquel's name multiple times. Give me a break, man. This is a slap in the face to the women's division. This is a slap in the face to the tag team. This is a slap in the face to Raquel. And nobody cares. Well, if you don't care, take the belts off of them and pass it to somebody that deserves it because they don't need it. They're not a tag team. They don't even have their own theme song. So with that being said, end it. Okay? But hold on. If Lyra or Becky or Alexa take the belts off of Liv and Raquel, they can get it back at Backlash, and then you can do whatever you want then. Okay? And they can become the 4-time women's tag team champions. Okay? Now, I hope they win it organically. But if they win it because of Dom, then you know why. Because like I said, if Dom becomes champ, I don't know if he's going to help Liv and Raquel retain the titles anymore. Because if he got the gold, he got to focus on his shit. And at that point, Liv is going to feel left out because he's so focused on his gold that he can't help Liv Morgan and Raquel anymore. He has to focus on him. And he's going to have so many distractions that, Liv Morgan's going to be like, baby, can you come help me with my match, please? And he's going to be like, no, I got to get ready for this. And she'll be like, oh, so I guess you don't care about me then. Just like you did with January the 6th. Hold on. You hear that? You hear that? That's the pass. And she's still champ. How can you show ego while you're still champ? That's what I'm saying. The belts have to come off. I don't care about the tag team push. Fuck the tag team push. I'm keeping it all the way above. Nobody cares about Liv and Raquel. All they care about is Liv and Dom. Am I right? Comment down below and let me know. Nobody cares about Liv and Raquel. They only care about Liv and Dom. That's it. That's it. Hot Ones just got almost to 700K in 4 days. And you want Liv and Raquel to retain their titles just because you don't want Lyra to be double champ, but Liv Morgan was double champ last year? Man, get out of here. I hope Liv and Raquel lose because I don't want Lyra to have her first loss when she could get her first win. So hopefully Alexa Bliss show up. Rather she pull up to the Fatal 4-Way match or the tag team match. I hope she pulls up because she's in Las Vegas. So I hope she pulls up. At least be part of the match. At least come out. You know what I'm saying? Like even if Lyra and Becky lose, can you please come out? Can you just at least come out? Just please come out. Just come out. Say something. Attack her. Surprise her. Scare her. Do something, bro. Don't just sit in the hotel with your husband, with your baby. Come out and scare the hell out of Liv Morgan so that way we can get a feud started. Please? God damn. I'm going to be nervous the whole fucking day, bro. But I got to get ready for church. So y'all enjoy y'all Easter, but make sure you guys tune in at 7 p.m. because we will be going live. And trust me, you don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it. So if you got Peacock, download the app and Netflix too. And make sure you guys watch this because y'all need to see this because this is important. We have to know what's going to happen in the Fatal 4-Way match and the tag team match. We have to know. And John Cena versus Cody. We need to see that as well. And I'm telling you right now, this is a night you don't want to miss. So don't miss it. All right? Just like what Triple H say with the Ice Challenge. Don't cheese out. Let's watch this pay-per-view. And look, CJ's going to talk shit regardless. All right? But we need to know who's going to win the Fatal 4-Way, and we need to know who's going to win the women's tag team match. Again, Liv and Raquel can retain, but however, will Alexa Bliss pull up? Will Becky Lynch pull up? What will happen? Same with the Fatal 4-Way. Will JD pull up? Will Liv Morgan pull up? We have to know. So let's just wait. All right, get in the comment box and discuss. If y'all want to talk about the triple threat match, you can comment down below and talk about it. I really don't care about the triple threat match. Listen, everyone's talking about it. I can give two fucks. All right, get in the comment box. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, share if you're new. And I'll see y'all at 7 o'clock, all right? Please don't miss out. I will be going live on YouTube, so don't miss out, all right? I'll catch y'all later tonight, all right? I'm out.